This episode of Pinball Shenanigans is brought to you by 99% isopropyl alcohol. I'm Mike Dimas, and this is Pinball Shenanigans. Alright, back in the basement for another episode. I got some plans, I got some hopes, I got some dreams. We'll see what I can accomplish. I've only got a couple hours, and then I gotta go play pinball at Forked River with Jay the neighbor and all the other shenaniganders that will be there for our bi-weekly tournament. Anyway, I got a couple things in the mail. Got them semi-prepped here. Let's do, you know what this is, do you? You probably should. If you don't, that's a little more fun and exciting. Both are exciting to me, but this is a little more cosmetically appealing. But this is my box of boards back from Brent Butler. There's a lot of, say that 3 times fast. Box of boards back from Brent Butler. Oh, not that bad. Anyway, he is like the packing master. Check this out. Look how beautifully well organized, well packed these boards are. Got bubble wrap. You got your anti-static action. Just fits so perfectly into the box. That was my MPU. Look at that. Brent is the best. If you need your boards repaired and you are in Canada, this is probably your best option. I don't know that there is another option actually within Canada. The turnaround time is ridiculous. The prices are so very reasonable. This whole thing, including shipping there and back, comes to, his work I think was $250 plus tax. So for me it was $332 for the full board set. $332. So I'd say that ain't too shabby. So I'm going to bust out the boards, and then we'll see what he did. I kind of wish I went over these boards a little more thoroughly before, so that we could kind of see the difference between the before and after. But I've got the list, and we can check out this board. I'll tell you what he did. So I won't go over every single thing, but he replaced C23, which looks like that's this. C24, which is probably this. He replaced R74, which is a resistor, R16, Q3, Q17, those are probably transistors here for solenoids. Yep, tip 122s. He repaired J4 broken traces, so that's J4 there. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Looks like it's sort of like crazy glued or something into place. Some sort of substance there. And then that is a ground mod there. That's jumpering your test point 3 to test point 1, I believe. That is another ground mod there, and that is another ground mod there, since we're looking at the backside. But yeah, installed grounding modifications, replaced the missing high voltage shield, and those resistors look like these guys here. At least, what is that, R75? He did R74. So some high voltage stuff going on there, and tested 100%, and it is good to go. All right. Okay, this is the lamp driver board that I sent with the boards, but this is one I just mustered out of my pile because the lamp driver in the Viper was fine. But in order to get the best deal, you got to include the full board set. So I just pulled this out of the pile, and you know, you can replace a couple transistors pretty easily, but it is like I said, better to get the full package deal. So This one I'll just leave in the anti-static bag. I'll file it away saying 100% working lamp driver for another project. But he only had to replace Q25 and Q54, 2 SCRs, and that is that. Same kind of thing for the soundboard. I actually think this is the soundboard that was originally in the machine, but the one that I stuck in there from my stash works fine. So I will probably also just file this away for the next Stern machine that needs it. Because, well, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'll pop it in there. We'll see. But the one that is in there now works perfectly fine, except we do got a weird humming coming from the speaker. I don't know if that's soundboard related or not. But in terms of the soundboard, he replaced, looks like all the caps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So C5, C7, C8, C9, C13, C15, 16, 19, C28. And then he replaced U10, which I don't know what that is. Where is U10? U9, 8, 6, 5, 12, 16, 17. Where the hell are you? Here it is, U10. Replace that. So I guess he deemed that bad, and that is a CD4049UBCM, and he replaced U16, which is over here. Okay, and that is a DM74LS08N, apparently. Replaced J1, this whole connector here, so that's pretty sweet, 34 pin, and tested 100%, and it is good to go. And now we have the original MPU, which did have some alkaline damage, and I sent him photos. Doesn't typically like to deal with that kind of stuff, but he said he would, and he did, and I'm sure he did all the things necessary to address and remediate and preventative measures and all that kind of stuff. So let's see what he had to do component-wise. Let's see. He replaced, where are we? Okay. Stern MPU 200. Replaced R1 and R3. I don't know where those are, but I'm not going to go hunting right now. CR5, CR7 diodes. Replaced C13 and C80. Replaced something 29, maybe R29. Replaced all the sockets, U1, U2, U7, U8, U13, all these sockets, whichever ones those are, but at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oh wait, and more, U9, 10, 11, so it looks like 3, 6, 7, 8 sockets were replaced. Wow. Replaced U9, which is an MC6800, which is this guy here. Oh, yeah, remember like 2 of my chips, maybe the bottom 2 were just like, look like the faces were missing off them. I replaced U10, which should be this guy. Yep, this guy, this chip's been replaced. And U11, which is this guy as well. All 3 of those 6800 series chips. He replaced J1, which is J1 32 pin. That's J2. That's J3. That's J1. Oh, so this has been replaced. You even got the original matching color. Alright, guess that has been replaced. And then, of course, the lithium battery upgrade, so don't have to worry about any more alkaline damage. So that is the MPU. Hold on, I think I know. That didn't look replaced to me. So he says J1 was replaced, but J1 is what it is labeled on the soundboard, I believe. But on the MPU side, it's actually J5. So this looks like it was repinned for the sound. So that is what that is. All right, one more package to open up here from our buddy old pal Johnny G across the pond. Some custom Viprin Aper cards. You ready? Yeah, check that out. And chrome boobies. Yeah, all right. That's gonna look awesome. Okay, just gave the apron a light wipe down with a damp cloth. You could get into that white and clean it up a little better if you wanted to risk, you know, if you wanted to risk it, but I don't recommend it because you can wipe it about, you know, say 10 or 20 times and maybe it's coming clean and it's just going fine and dandy, but that 21st wipe, there goes your art. It would just smear right off. So I pressed my luck only that far, and I think it looks better. I'm not gonna risk it. Or am I? Should I get a magic eraser? Should I demonstrate what I'm talking about? Like, let's just push the envelope just a tiny bit. Okay. Let's find a spot that's a little bit dirty here. This is scary. Like, literally, this blue might just be gone right before our friggin' eyeballs if we're not careful. But, yeah. Oh, see, look. That is blue paint. That's as far as I'm going with that. So you get the idea. Be careful. These are not something you can just go to the old corner store and replace. And good luck even finding like an apron decal set. I mean, maybe it exists, but don't gamble too hard. But let's see what these things look like. Again, another friggin' perfect fit from John G. Laminated. And nice thick stock. Oh yeah, look at that. Every little piece of the puzzle coming together. So now my goal is to LED the entire playfield underside, like all the inserts, because I am getting some LEDs from Corey tonight because I've run my stock dry of all these guys. So who knows if I even have enough greens and... Oh, see, these are warm whites. I definitely don't... I use warm whites for yellows. I use warm whites for orange. So I got to see exactly what else I need to order from him. So I'm going to do as much as I can. Let's see how my power switch is working today. Oh, good. I got it on the to-do list as question mark. If it fails me again, then I may just replace it, but it's been pretty good since I cleaned it. So here we go. Here is our before. Got very few incandescent bulbs actually working. Like, look at all these guys. How many of these are actually even working? What, like, I swear they used to. Did I, like, pull off a wire or something when I was underneath the hood? See, I'm going to need a lot of reds. I don't even think I'm going to be able to do this. Like, half the playfield. We'll find out, though. And then I can order what I need from Corey tonight. So that's the plan. I was editing my video and I was talking about the access to the bottom right corner of the playfield for the lamp sockets. I thought to myself, Michael, don't be a dork. You've got this thing on a hydraulic cart. Why don't you just lower it and then you can do this and have nice access. That is the luxury of working on this hydraulic cart. Anyway, now that I've done that, I can access all these LEDs so much nicer. Okay, I got LEDs installed in most sockets. Accessing the dropped, those zones there, not easy. So I think I will do those once I remove the drop target mechs and give them a cleaning. These plates, you'd usually just take the 2 screws off and voila, the whole switch plate comes off, but the screws are screwed in from the inside, which is kind of different. So this is a little slightly different style of drop target mech than I am used to. I haven't quite seen this one before. And it is the same on the other side. I thought, well, did someone put in the screws from the wrong side? But nope. So I can't just easily remove the switch stack and then remove the mech. I have to basically unscrew the 4 screws, remove this while it's dangling there. Then I can remove the 2 screws from the inside and I can cut these wires. Then I can pull out the whole mech, maybe dunk it in my ultrasonic cleaner, then stick in some LEDs. But I am probably going to have to address a good 40% of these LEDs, the sockets that is, because there's a lot of them, especially this bar. I don't love this bar. And then there's another one there. Got 1, 2, 3 greens, not working on that. Got 2 whites, not working on this. Got a blue there that's not working, a red there that's flaky, another, oh no, I'm missing a blue, a white here. So I'm gonna have to deal with a lot of socket stuff, which I'm so looking forward to. But I accomplished my mission anyway. I got an idea of what I need. Gonna need some more reds, some more greens, some more frosted blues, and like another 100 white warms to replenish my stash, and then finish off the last few LEDs that I missed. Alright, I'm thinking since I have the hood up here that I might tackle the drop target assemblies. So I am slightly dreading this, but we'll see what happens. It's actually somewhat exciting to throw these in the ultrasonic cleaner and see what happens, so that'll be fun. Okay, that really wasn't so bad at all. I just did exactly what I said. I removed the 4 screws. I kind of hung the mech down, held it in my hand, and then used a slotted screwdriver to remove this switch bank. You know, I guess I could have removed all the 6 screws for the switches, but then those stacks may want to fall apart on me, so I don't mind this strategy. Now I can access the LEDs, and I'll make sure these are 100% if I can, because I don't want to be fiddling with those after I install the drop target bank once it's all cleaned up. But all in all, it looks in very original condition, and it's cool that there's no art on the drop targets, because I could literally just remove the solenoid and hopefully this whole thing will just fit in the ultrasonic cleaner, and then I don't have to take every part and piece apart. So that's exciting. I'm going to remove the solenoid and then stick this in the cleaner. Okay, well, the drop target mech doesn't quite fit, and neither does the lid. I don't know if that matters or not, but I'm going to give it a try. I'll just do one side for 15 minutes and then flip it, do the other side. And in the meanwhile, I will remove the other drop target mech, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, got my LEDs installed, and I did the modification to each socket where I cut the wire off of the lead and I solder it directly to the butt. So that's a good thing to do. And the other is Dremel the edge here between the barrel and the bracket so that solder will stick to it, and then that way the barrel doesn't spin and you know you've got good connection there. So I did that for all 3. These do not spin. I'm not going to turn too hard because I don't know how well that solder took. But, you know, the middle one was being flaky. But I think I am safe to reinstall the drop target bank, which one side just finished. So I'm going to flip this over and give it another 15 minutes. Alright, I got the second drop target bank out, and they look like they've never been touched. I mean, the drop targets are all original, so there's no reason, but it's all original. Oh, some rusty little posts there. Didn't check those on the other one. So, yeah, it's nice that it's all original and in good shape too, overall. So I did the lamp socket mod to all these guys, and barrels are not spinning, not being flaky, so I think that side's good. And oh, I still got to clean these guys, clean those switches. I've got the first drop target bank out of the ultrasonic cleaner, and it turned out pretty darn good. Very happy with it. I did just have to give it a little bit of a external wipe. I don't know that that made any difference. Drop targets still had a little bit of black on them, but a little quick wipe with a magic eraser solved that. So I'm very happy with the overall results. I don't know if those little posts are gonna rust out on me. I don't know if they were rusty, but I guess some metals, you know, if you don't treat them properly, they may come back rusty, but we'll see how this goes. I'll check in 6 months and we'll see if I remember. But all in all, very happy with how that turned out. So I'm gonna leave it at this for now. I gotta start getting, you know what, I should eat before I go to Forked River. So that's where I'm gonna end this tonight, but I'll be back tomorrow. We'll deal with this guy and install the drop target banks, and that will be at least those guys off the checklist. All right, I'm back from Forked River last night. After 5 rounds of match play, round robin action, I was qualified in 2nd place out of 14 players. Then we played Amazing Race Playoffs for the top 7. I did okay on Iron Maiden. I got through on Victory. And then it was Dungeons and Dragons next. I just needed to beat 60 million. I usually crush that game. And proceeded to get under 4 million. Yes, not even sure how that's possible, but I did. Twice in a row, 2 balls in a row. I try and like trap on the left as the ball's coming down the left orbit. Trap, pop it into the out lane. Very exact same effing thing happened to me on ball 3. Plunge too hard, goes all the way around. Try to trap on the left, pop it into the left or out lane. How's that possible? I don't know, but I was very sad. But it was good to see other people in the final 4. Like, who was in there? I think John Charest was there in the top, and our buddy old pal, pinballcards.com, Greg Benz, took it down, 1st place. So good job, Benzie. Also, when we were at Ohio Pin Brew, Trent of Tilt Amusements was there and donated to Julie an entire box of these little keychains. Out of the way, pinheads. So what is that, like Deadpool? And this, is this Godzilla? Is that like a cityscape back there? And this might be like, oh yeah, it's like a tuxedo. It's like 007. So I grabbed one of each. And those will go somewhere on the wall. Okay, so back to the action. Got to deal with cleaning up target bank number 2. Take another look at the before. This fuzzy stuff doesn't really come off too easily. Oh, look. This kind of like corrosion-y crust in the cracks. Do you guys have that? If so, I advise you to change your underwear immediately. But that's what it looks like. That's what these guys look like. Pretty rusty. Spring washer. And even, let's take a closer look at this sleeve here. It's pretty black. I don't typically reuse those, but you know what? I'm going to, because it's perfectly fine. And after a nice ultrasonic cleaning, it'll be good to go for another 40 years. So back to the action. Forgot the whole elephant in the room. My LED order. 170 of them, I think. Worked out to about $1 a bulb. So thank you, Corey Cook of London Pinball. If you need LEDs and you're like somewhat local, go to Corey. If you're anywhere in Ontario or Canada, go to pinballleds.ca or pinballrom.com. Those are your 2 main local Canadian sources for LEDs. Okay. Question. I've got it set. Well, I had it set for 120 degrees Fahrenheit. I've changed it to 140 because at 120 it wasn't feeling too hot. I've run it for at least 20 minutes. And like, should I be able to touch the water? Like, maybe with the lid like completely closed, it would make a world of difference, but does that seem weird? I'm just wondering about that. But anyway, I gotta flip my drop target bank and do the other side. I also threw in 3 random drop targets with art on them just to see what would happen. They're used and well worn, so I don't care if the art vanishes completely. I've got a few spares, so that'll be an interesting experiment. But yeah, let me know what you think about the heat. Alright, this drop target bank is reinstalled and looking pretty darn good. It wasn't really in deplorable condition to begin with, but it's good to go now. And while I'm on an ultrasonic roll, I removed the one pop bumper assembly. Probably should have did the same on this guy before installing this, because that one screw is a little tight and it would just give me a little more room to work with. But these are the solenoid wires. Here's the switch. These are the lamp wires. And I'll throw in, here's all the parts. We got the LED, the lamp socket. I'm gonna do my LED mod, so that's gonna be garbage. I'm gonna clean the spoon, the stop. I'm gonna clean the sleeve for fun, see how that goes. And here's the whole assembly here. Just gonna drop this in one solid piece. Not even gonna take it apart. The body looks to be in good shape for its age. I wish we could all say the same. So, yeah, just gonna plop this in there once my second drop target assembly is ready. Okay, I'm back from grocery shopping. Here is target bank number 2. And again, it came out pretty damn good. Look at that. And here's the drop targets I threw in there. I probably should have taken a before photo because I don't actually know if there's much difference in the art itself. They didn't really come out that well, actually. Maybe they needed more time in there. They're pretty clean, but just some stains that maybe need the magic eraser treatment. Anyway, so what I'll do is throw in my pop bumper assembly while I install the second drop target bank. And then once I'm installing this guy, I will clean the other pop bumper assembly and then in fairly short order, we should have both pop bumpers and both drop target banks done. Okay, pop bumper number 1 is done. And turned out great. I just threw the whole thing in there, minus the LED. And I did have to give it a wipe down after it came out. There was still some black here and there, and so it doesn't just come out magically 100%. You gotta still rinse it off and give it a bit of a wipe down. But I dig. Pretty happy with how this ultrasonic cleaner action is panning out. Well, that's the second piece of glass I pulled out of the pop bumper. Must have like fell in there from an old bulb or something. But so yeah, instead of the pressure fit, flaky ass, old school method, this is my method. I've done this on previous videos. You just bust apart an LED. See if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. It's an old Comet 4 SMD LED. You just give it a little squeeze and the LED portion comes right out. Solder a couple wires to it, and voila, you'll never have flickery LEDs or non-working LEDs in your pop bumpers again. I learned that trick from Eric Thorne at District 82. You can find the whole tutorial if you Google how to bulletproof your LEDs on your pinball machines. District 82. So I will just connect these wires. They probably won't need to be this long. Connect them to the existing wires, or maybe right to this part here, but you know what, it'll probably be easier just to connect to the old wires. I think I'll do that. And pop bumper number 2 is getting cleaned right now. I decided I'm going to install this pop bumper before the drop target bank. I think it'll just be a little bit easier. That is off, right? Yes, okay. So, yep, things are moving along. And the spoon came out pretty good too. I just needed to give it a wipe. I mean, this is what the other one looked like. So, much better. Okay, it's actually been like 6 hours since the last clip there. Went up for dinner and then I just never made it back down, and it's close to 11 at night. But there's just a couple more things I want to do before I wrap up the evening. So my goal is to have all 4 mechs installed, the 2 drop target assemblies and the 2 pop bumper assemblies. So I just came down and look who I see chilling in her little perch. She was sleeping, but I woke her up. So hopefully I don't make too much noise for her and she just hangs out down here with me. Where am I at? Okay, so this is the second pop bumper assembly. It looks a little white there for whatever reason in the cracks. Anyway, it's all assembled. My spoon's all cleaned up. I'm not going to be using these. This is garbage. And the last thing I did was just spend a little bit of time to make sure that these drop targets were all dropping nicely. So this tension on this leaf here has to be just right, otherwise I got the first drop. This is, you know, I'm fighting gravity right here, so we got to move this up, then down. So that's, I need an extra hand for that, so that ain't gonna work. But let's get this out of the way, and then we'll do the other 2, just like that, and just like that. The couple targets were not dropping all the way down, but since I adjusted those just ever so perfectly, they're all good to go now. So that is where I left off when I went upstairs. A reminder to myself to adjust these drop targets equally perfectly. And then I will proceed to install everything, and then I can go to bed. Okay, it is 11:15, and Ellie is fast asleep and adorable, as usual. She's sleeping on the job tonight, but that's all right. We'll let her. Anyway, I've accomplished my mission. I've got everything installed. Drop target bank, pop bumper assembly, pop bumper assembly. Got everything soldered back up. These guys, these guys, these guys, and then for the LEDs, here's my wires that came out, and I just tied them into the existing wires, soldered and shrink tubed them, and zip tied everything all relatively nice. Here's the two wires coming out of the other pop bumper assembly there, the blue and the green. They come down to here. They're zip tied in. They're soldered and shrink tubed. Shrink tube courtesy of Jim Wilkes. Thank you again. And I adjusted all the switches. 6 drop target switches and the 2 pop bumper switches. And the only way to really know how everything works and how well dialed in it is to play test it, but that is not going to happen tonight. We should have these 6 LEDs. They should be good to go. And let's turn on the machine. The power switch has been behaving lately, so I'm not going to fix something that's working. So in order for me to satisfy the turret, I have to close these 3 trough switches simultaneously. Now it thinks all the balls are in there, and now it stops spinning. Otherwise it'll just spin for eternity till it gets all of its balls. Now, for the first time, we can take a look at the pop bumpers and see if they work. Check that out. I may need to position them just a little bit, you know, more in the center. I can't really tell from this angle, but those lights are gonna last for decades, hopefully, and they will never be flaky, so that is great. I installed the 1 LED that I was missing, and I was missing a blue LED as well, so I installed that. That's this guy, which appears to be working. So that is a pretty good dent. I'm very happy with that. Probably gonna do the ball walker mech next episode. It's pretty simple, just 3 screws to remove. I can just desolder these 2 wires, and that whole thing should just pop out. Just give it a good cleaning, and I mean, it seems like it works okay, but it was kind of slow during play testing to return to its resting position. And then eventually I've got to deal with some flippers. What is this? Is that a flipper? That is a flipper. Flipper. Oh, and this is... Oh, see, this is like a total flipper mech, but it's actually a trough kicker to kick the ball into the shooter lane. So that's neat. I do have some stuff going on here. I'm going to probably have to fill some stripped holes. What about this guy up here? There's probably another stripped hole there. Not too bad. So the kickers, may or may not rebuild them. It's easier to do from the top side. There we go. I don't know. If those guys are working fine, I may not go through the trouble. Like, honestly, the before and after on these is not that significant. It was a royal pain in the butt to do. I was happy to try out the ultrasonic cleaner. In the grand scheme of things, one could have left it, but one could have leapt it, but I didn't. But I may lep the kickers, because they're fine. Anyway, we'll see. I change my mind from time to time. So, I think that concludes another episode of Viper, so hope you are enjoying. I won't be enjoying dealing with 40 of these crappy lamp sockets. I gotta do that next too, so we'll see y'all later.